Is she on? Alicia in Australia.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. How are you?
Oh, great. I'm great. First, I want to say that you guys are awesome. I've been watching YouTube, and you actually helped me figure out that I'm actually an atheist, and I'm
Oh,
actually really excited to be talking to you.
great. Thank you very much. I have some friends down in Australia as well. Some of them came up for TAM7. I'm hoping to eventually get down there one day. We'll make a big party out of it.
Awesome. Um, I have a question for you. I've been reading up on apologetics a lot lately, and one argument that I'm sort of not sure how to think about is the argument from personal experience. And I know a lot of people from of different religions, and people who I trust for various reasons, to be honest. And people seem to have religious experiences. That isn't. I mean, I don't necessarily believe that when they say that God is talking to them, that God is talking to them. But it's something that I think I understand because I've also had them myself. I have temporal lobe epilepsy, and so sometimes I hallucinate as a result of having seizures. So it's easy for me to sort of be able to deal with my own personal religious experiences. But how, if okay, basically, how would you address the argument from personal experience? How would you, if you were having, if someone was having religious experiences themselves, how would they, how could they verify that? How do you deal with that?
Okay, go ahead.
Shall I? Well, the last thing you said, how would they verify that? That's, I think, the key, because things that just happen inside your own head, there's no independent verification possible. Now, so that makes it problematic, and I think the things that I say to people who make claims like that to me are, well, I don't doubt that you have had an experience. The question is, what was its actual nature? We know for a fact that there are seizures, that there are hallucinations, that there are misinterpretations of data, and so there's a lot of other things that might have been before we even get to the question of lying. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, what I say is that look, that's fine. You experience something weird, and you're interpreting it to be your God. But other people all over the planet have similar experiences and interpret those experiences to be their God. So it's not at all clear that it's definitely yours. That's just your interpretation of it. The thing you need to do if you want to prove that your God exists is you're going to have to compile some evidence from from outside of personal experience.
Yeah, and to kind of add a little bit to what Jeff was saying, in some cases it depends on specifically what they're claiming. In much the same way that if somebody claimed they were abducted by aliens without any external evidence to corroborate it, I can only say, okay, I don't believe that that's what happened. As Jeff said, I believe that you had an experience, or I'm willing to accept that you had some experience, but to attribute a cause to it, I don't see the justification for that. But there's an exception, I think, in some religious claims. And this is because you need to look at not only what they're actually saying with regard to that experience, but what they're adding to it. And if somebody says, I've had a personal experience with a God, and while you haven't necessarily had that experience, you should also believe it, and here's what God wants you to know. Well, I'm fine dismissing all of that out of hand, but I think you can also address, depending on their claim, the absurdity of this. Dawkins made a comment at the AAI convention that you have a God who is supposedly an intelligent, and one of the best ways that he has been able to find to communicate with people is to have them babble incessantly, scream and yell and flail around on the ground. And, Pentecostal churches where they're speaking in tongues and doing this. That's, I don't think it's unreasonable for people to say that's patently absurd. If
it's like the space aliens who have visited us from many, many light years away and can't think of a better way to communicate than to squash down some wheat in a beautiful pattern.
Yeah,
what's that all about?
It's absolutely that. And if their claim is such that it entails other factors that render it absurd, then I think it's fine to not only do I not accept your claim, but I believe that your claim is outright wrong or mistaken, and here's why, and go into those details. But by and large, when somebody tells me that they have a personal experience that for them justifies it, okay, fine, but would you at least admit that there's no reason why I should also believe absent that experience?
Right. I mean, they will tend to bring up the insinuation that by not believing them you are claiming that they are liars, right? Because that is an emotional ploy. Once they've had this personal internal experience, not having you not accept it, they can spin that emotionally to try to get you to back down and say, well, okay, I don't think you're a liar. But lying isn't even an issue, right? It's not a question of whether they're lying. It's a question of whether their interpretation of their experience matches up with reality.